Leon Edwards is described as one of the deadliest fighters in the UFC. From his savage striking skills to his refined wrestling training, here are all the reasons why fighters are so scared of Leon Edwards. Starting with the beautiful accuracy and timing of his strikes. Leon is an exceptional kickboxer. For someone who's only 170 pounds, he's earned a lot of fame over the years.
I can't put into words, Joe. It's been a long fought for 4 years. The all doubted me, I couldn't do it. The all said I couldn't do it. Look at me now.
But the reason why even the biggest mixed martial artists are scared to get in the ring with him is that he makes excellent use of range and prefers to fight from the outside. He draws his opponents towards him and counters their strike with a wonderful combo of accuracy and perfect timing. Unlike most fighters, Edwards throws a ton of jabs, and his jabs are always on point. This opens up the doors to a lot of follow-up strikes. He's even known for his rear kicks, which quite a few fighters struggle with or fail to throw properly. In his fight against Rafael dos Anjos, he showed the effectiveness of that kick pretty aptly. Leon times his jabs with his rear kicks with a surprising tenacity and blasts his opponent's midsection. When they start to expect him to kick, he changes tactics and throws a straight punch or an uppercut counter. This usually gets the job done. He's also pretty good at clinch, and his ultra-lethal elbows do a lot of damage to the opponent. Plus, just like his striking, his wrestling training's pretty handy too. One of the main reasons why fighters hate fighting Leon is that he works hard, and he worked extremely hard on his wrestling. Even though he's a kickboxer, he spent a bit of time at the American Kickboxing Academy, which is the home of some pretty notable wrestlers, like Cain Velasquez.
I don't think about it as a defend the title, get the title. I want to win every fight against the best guys, and this just comes along with it. So I'm just blessed tonight, and just want to say thanks.
Daniel Cormier.
I don't know, man. I thought the fight was going well. I don't even know what happened. It's like I got kicked in the head.
And Khabib Nurmagomedov.
First of all, I want to say Alhamdulillah. God gave me everything. Thank you for these guys with me and with my father more than 20 years.
He wanted to up his skills on the grappling aspect of the game, especially after a devastating loss against the pound-for-pound king, Kamaru Usman. When he was fighting against the Nigerian Nightmare, Rocky's proficiency in the grappling department was on full display. But even then, although he held his own in the clinch, the British fighter ultimately proved insufficient. Kamaru easily tied him up and forced takedowns at will. After being embarrassingly manhandled by Usman, Leon decided that his defensive wrestling just wasn't up to par. That's when he decided to join the American Kickboxing Academy, where all premier wrestlers had gone to learn to fight. And what do you know? The results were instantaneous. Leon took a rebound fight against Dominic Waters at UFC Fight Night 87. After wielding off a ton of takedown attempts, he successfully took down Waters by being more aggressive in the clinch. Dominic was picked apart by Leon.
The back here.
And he earned an impressive victory via unanimous decision. He has a pretty strong grip on wrestling by now, and uses lightning-fast speed to deny takedown attempts. Not only that, but he also ducks down instantly on a double leg and widens his stance, which betters his chances for survival. And if he's ever taken down, Leon immediately seeks the cage and then gets back on his feet with surprising agility and ease.
The body really seemed to hurt Waters. Waters really breathing heavy now, unable.
He's literally mastered the art of transitions while attempting takedowns in his fights, and showed the audience just how quickly he can switch from a double leg to a body lock position. Leon has a pretty long winning streak after he was taken down by Usman, but let's not forget what the Nigerian Nightmare said about him either. In an interview with UFC Hall of Famer Daniel Cormier, Kamaru shared some of his thoughts. He talked about how Leon's wrestling had improved impressively, and even admitted to being scared of him. He confessed that he was worried about the rematch, and that Edwards' jab cross was way more fluid and faster than his own. He consoled himself by saying that although Leon's 1-2 looks slicker, his jab crosses put the opponents to sleep. Aside from Edwards' 1-2s, even his Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills are beyond incredible. 2 of his 3 career submission victories have been the result of a rear naked choke. Once he controls his ops posture from the top, he starts doing some real damage. This forces his competitor to transition and eventually give up their back. His jiu-jitsu skills are just insane. Plus, he's more than willing to hang on to the 2-on-1 wrist control and knock his opponents to the ground. If they somehow get up to their feet back, the British fighter uses his lethal elbows from the clinch to get the work done. Not a lot of people were ready to believe that Rocky had it in him. At least, not until UFC 278. That was one hell of a match. Leon entered the main event matchup as a steep underdog, fighting the reigning welterweight title holder, Kamaru Usman.
You know, it's something different. It's different when you're in the gym with me. But when you get in here, it's different ball game. I'm a whole nother savage. From start to finish, I'm a whole nother savage.
Those days, Kamaru was considered the top fighter in every division. He was ranked #1 in the UFC's pound-for-pound rankings, and he'd already beaten Leon once before in 2015. The British fighter spent most of the fight trailing on the judges' cards, but somehow, against all odds, made it to the final championship round. With 1 minute left to the end of the game, Leon knocked Kamaru out with a remarkable high kick. It was one of the most exciting and shocking finishes in UFC history. The result wasn't as shocking to Leon. With this victory, he'd become the UFC's first Jamaican-born champ, and only the second who was based in England. The formidable way that he beat a UFC legend like Kamaru Usman is one of the main reasons why fighters are scared to be pitted against him. After that fight, he gave an interview and reveled in being right. He called out his doubters and detractors.
Yeah, 100%. It's sunk in now. It took a while to sink in to see the belt back in Birmingham, in my house, seeing it every morning when I have my coffee. But now,
asking them to acknowledge his victory and all the hard work he'd put into getting to that point, as he should. His victory was amazing, and it shut the mouths of those who cast down on him for good. I mean, let's be honest, his final knockout blow wasn't just a lucky shot. He had trained for this. He was ready to go to the distance to the final round, and be in the perfect stance to throw his favorite move, the high kick. Talking to the Men's Health crew, Leon said that he's always been good at kicking.
Punch or the feint, so I'm throwing it, I know he's going to do this to push it away from his face. So it's more of a feint than, I'm not trying to hit him with it. Okay, so I'll go punch, either parries, I go boom, wallet, head kick.
Maybe that's what makes him such a deadly opponent in the octagon. When he first got into MMA, it was to focus his energy on something that wouldn't get him into trouble. Gradually, the fighter gravitated towards kickboxing. He definitely added other disciples to his skill set, like wrestling and jiu-jitsu. But boy, does he love striking. He laughed about it, saying that he feels like knockouts are much better than submission.
I'm just promoting media run.
Okay.
Israel's fighting this Saturday.
Is he?
Yeah, so I want to watch him and just been busy since the fight. I won the bout 2 months ago.
But his fighting technique was only one reason he won that fight. It was his conditioning and strength that allowed him to find the ideal opening for his strike. Another great quality that makes UFC athletes reluctant to fight Leon is that he's pretty down to earth. He got together with Shaquille Majuri on his YouTube talk show, Shaq MMA, where he was asked how he navigates through the trash talking as a stoic fighter. Leon said that he's just himself. He said that though he hasn't lost a fight since his competition with Kamaru, and doesn't trash talk about him because the Nigerian prince has proved that he was a good fighter. He then went on to explain why he thought fighters in his division tended to trash talk so often, and said he thinks they're trying to sell the fight, trying to put themselves into a position they didn't earn. Yikes. Guess you really shouldn't get on his bad side either. Well, there you have it. That's everything on why all the fighters are scared of Leon Edwards.